Just a robot.
Well, I think yes. So that's what this project aims to achieve. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm opening the first of its kind. A hotel that rehabilitates sinners.
Let's talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of Hazbin Hotel. This is the part where I normally make a joke saying, for the 2 or 3 people who don't know what Hazbin Hotel is, but I know all of you have already heard about Hazbin Hotel. But I'm still going to explain what it is in case someone is watching this 50 plus years in the future.
No!
Hazbin Hotel is a cartoon that has been teased for a few years now. That may not sound too special at first, but a studio is not making this cartoon. Just a bunch of friends on the internet, being produced by people on Patreon, and not a big producer. To the people watching this 50 plus years in the future, that may not sound too special, that's probably really common in your time. But in the year 2019, with Donald Duck as the president, something like this happening is pretty much unheard of. The show takes place in HE double hockey stick, and the daughter of the devil, or the Lord of Hell, is opening up a hotel to rehabilitate sinners. It's a very unique premise and all, but how good is the actual show itself? Well, the opening immediately hooks you. It has a beautiful song and very unique animation. It really reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. I don't know why, but it does. It also shows off the unique character design. Most of the characters are extremely detailed, and pretty much all of them look unique from one another, as if they're from different shows. They're definitely not cutting corners on the character animation. Unfortunately, this is also one of the major problems with this show. Because there are so many different characters that have a lot of detail and look unique from one another, it's hard to keep track of everything. It's a bit overstimulating. You know how when fan art is done of characters, it's usually extremely detailed? Well, it does look cool as an image, but animating something like it and making it move around is very expensive and time-consuming. And when you're doing that to a whole bunch of characters all at once, it's very overstimulating and hard to keep track of. Some people have also complained about the backgrounds using too much red, and while I agreed with them at first, if the backgrounds had multiple colors and were just as detailed as the characters, they would be harder to keep track of than they already are. Sometimes detail can be a bad thing. I've been playing a lot of Devil May Cry 5 as of late. That game has a lot of detail. You can see every little bit of Dante's scruff in high definition. But sometimes when I'm playing, I lose track of Dante. Dante along with the backgrounds are so detailed they kind of blend into one another. So I am glad that the backgrounds are mostly red. But they do still look amazing. Especially the hotel. It really feels like it's out of Dreamland from Little Nemo. Every now and then they'll change up the art style to make a scene look cooler, funny, or when they're explaining a character's origin story. It's a welcome change whenever they do it, but they don't do it so much that it gets annoying. But I can't really say the same thing about the sound effects. Sometimes they do a good one, like a balloon deflating.
Yes, let's do this.
Just look at me.
That one works, but other times a character will lean back and there will be a cracking sound.
And I'll mouth it to you.
Come on.
It's as if whoever was working on the audio just added every single sound effect at his disposal, whether it be a bell or a dog squeak toy.
I don't know, make things sound more exciting.
And this happens throughout the pilot. Even without the sound effects, whenever there's supposed to be a slow moment of a character just talking, something just has to happen.
As most of you know, I was born here in Hell, and growing up, I always tried to see the good in everything around me. Hell is my home, and you are my people.
Now, before the pilot was released, there were a few clips of the show that were shown early, and they use way less sound effects. Just look at these 2 clips right next to each other. The first clip I'm going to show you is not from the pilot.
I made you look, sad and pathetic, like an orphan with no arms or legs. With progeria!
Now let's look at a clip from the pilot that added sound effects.
I made you look, sad and pathetic, like an orphan with no arms or legs. With progeria!
Now, of course, this is up to personal preference, but you tell me which you think is better. Personally, I like the version with less sound effects. But sometimes the pilot does actually take out sound effects that would have made it better. For example, watch these two clips next to each other. The first one I'm going to show you is from the pilot. Now pay close attention to where the main character grabs and pats this hairless guy.
Inside of every creepy hatchet-wielding maniac is the jolly happy cupcake-loving child.
You may have noticed that there's no sound effects, and if there is, I can barely hear them. But now look at this clip that was shown before the pilot was released. This time you can actually hear her patting his bald head.
Inside of every creepy hatchet-wielding maniac is the jolly happy cupcake-loving child.
I have no idea why they took this out when they released the pilot. Maybe it was to make room for all the other 5 billion sound effects. But at least all the sound effects are unique. They're not using the same sound effect over and over like Johnny Test and the whip sound effect. But how is the humor in Hazbin Hotel? Well, there are a lot of good background gags, like this one of the comic relief Angel Dust. It's an image of him from a porno, and it says, well, okay, on it. But the two opening jokes are done really poorly. You know the joke of the character being really overjoyed that they survived or they got something, only to die or be crushed right afterwards, which is pretty much the exact same joke? Well, they do both of those pretty much exact same jokes at the very beginning.
Oh, I'm alive! I'm alive!
One right after the other.
Yoink!
Hey!
Up yours, drag show!
Oh my god! My drugs!
Now, I cannot stress this enough, they're not the exact same joke, but they both divert your expectations. They're probably the two most similar jokes in the entire pilot. Honestly, I think it would have been better if they took the first one out, but this is also just a nitpick at best. But a few of the other jokes did get a chuckle out of me.
Oh, harder, Daddy! Son?
And sometimes they make a joke that is decent, but then it somewhat gets ruined by the sound effect they play afterwards.
Is your hat, like, alive or something? Oh, well, that's none of your business! Now is it? Would that make your hat the top and you the bottom?
Really? The MLG foghorns? Seriously? And only a few seconds later, they do the Roblox oof sound effect. Yeah, this is clearly made by a bunch of people on the internet and not a studio. Like, who was in charge of the sound design? Cartoon Fight Club? But one thing that does really save the show is the characters. Such as Alistair, the main villain, who is also Charlie, the main character's business partner. Which is a pretty interesting idea, and I'm very curious to see what they do with it. Now, some people do find Alistair's morphed radio voice to be kind of annoying.
After all, the world is a stage, and the stage is a world of entertainment.
But those people probably find my morphed voice also annoying, so screw those people. Alistair is one of those creepy deal-maker devil types. And Charlie, the main character, is warned not to make a deal with him. And the best part is, she actually doesn't.
So it's a deal then?
Nope, no shaking, no deals.
I've been waiting so long for a character just to say no to a deal maker. I think this might be the first time I've ever seen this in, well, anything ever. He brings in two new characters with him, like Nifty, who for some reason thinks Angel Dust is a girl.
Hi, baby, man here! I'm sorry, that's rude. Oh man, this place is filthy. It really needs a lady's touch, which is weird because you're all ladies, no offense.
I don't know if that's going to be a running joke or something else, but I'm definitely curious about what they're going to do with it. And he also adds this cat angel demon character. I really like all the poker symbols in his wings. It really adds to his design. And Alistair also really works well off of this character.
You think I'm some kind of clown?
Maybe.
He also works really well off of Angel Dust.
And what can you do, my effeminate fellow?
I can suck your
Ha! No.
You're lost.
But there are two characters that I think the show forgot about.
So where is your hotel staff?
Well...
Oh, you're going to need more than that.
That's it? Weren't there, like, two mini goat imps with you? I mean, I assume they were with Charlie, they were doing what she wanted them to. And they even rehearsed a song with her. Will we ever see them again? I sure hope so. After all, they did seem on board with her idea. I don't know, maybe they're both driving the limo. I'm also really curious about how the life and death circle works in this universe. Angel Dust even questions it himself.
I'm gonna kill him.
Too late, Toots. Wait! Would that make me double dead? Where exactly do I go? To double hell? Sorry, you're stuck with me.
Apparently, once a year, every time hell gets too overpopulated, these demon, angel, harlequin things show up and kill a lot of the population. In fact, that's the reason why Charlie wants to start the hotel in the first place, so people won't die.
We just went through another extermination. We lost so many souls, and it breaks my heart to see my people being slaughtered every year. No one is even given a chance.
I really hope they explain how the life and death circle works later on in the show. Also, Alistair looks like a color-swapped version of Charlie's dad. I wonder what they're gonna do with that. Maybe MatPat will do a video about it. We have talked about the good and the bad, but now it's time we touch on the ugly. There were 2 controversial lines. This one...
Just don't get your taco in a twist, baby.
Was that you trying to be sexist or racist?
Whatever you off more.
And this one.
I'd say it's a pleasure to meet you, but that would be a lie. You can put that away. I don't touch the gays. I have standards.
Yeah? How's that working out for you?
A couple of people on Twitter, you know the types I'm talking about, complained about these parts. And all I gotta say is, wow, who knew that people who are in hell are not good people, and that a few bigots are there? The reporter is not shown to be a good person in the least bit. Hell, they work on 666 News. Also, Angel Dust is not a nice person either. In fact, the reason why he's there is to be on the path to redemption. Okay, I lied, he's there for the free rent. Also, he's not racist because the girl he said it to is gray, not Latino. I thought something like this would happen considering the show is pretty apolitical. Well, apolitical by today's standards. And unless you're bending over backwards for a certain political group, they're gonna have a problem with what you make. I mean, just look at Joker. People are also digging up things VizzyPop has said in the past, but she no longer stands behind it, and she has apologized for what she said. Also, it's very easy to separate the art from the artist. I mean, VizzyPop could go to the pet store, buy a puppy, and kill it, but that wouldn't ruin the quality of the show. If you want more information about all of this stuff, I highly recommend you check out MangaKamen's video. I'll link it down below. There's also some drama surrounding PK Russell's video on Hazbin Hotel, and yeah, it was pretty bad. I'm not going to cover it. I mean, I do consider PK to be my friend, and I have met up with him IRL. I'll give him a freebie for this one, but PK, seriously, stop digging your own grave. To be honest, I think all the problems with PK's video stems from the fact that he jumped on the bandwagon way too soon. I myself am a bit late for the Hazbin Hotel bandwagon. Pretty much everyone else has already hopped off the bandwagon and are now climbing on to the Kappa bandwagon. I understand that the Hazbin Hotel pilot wasn't perfect, but most pilots are the worst episode of a show. I mean, look at the pilot for F is for Family, it's pretty bad. And BoJack, a show people absolutely adore, its first 3 episodes are definitely the worst ones. A pilot is only the beginning of a show. Over time, they'll learn what works and what doesn't work and change things accordingly. But seriously, VizzyPop, cut down on the sound effects. But overall, I did enjoy Hazbin Hotel, and I highly recommend you go check it out.
But... what?
Why does anyone do anything? Sheer, absolute boredom!
My eyes have seen the glory of the cleansing of YouTube, debunking SJWs and feminazis too. We criticize reactionists in hopes they get the boot. Just a robot marches on